We have
What's going on?
plenty, actually. Good to see you.
Good to see you, bud.
I'm going to ask. Well, let me start off by asking you this. My question's twofold. One, how does it feel to be back in the Supernatural universe? And number two, I'm hearing tell that you're retconning some of the backstory. Can you talk about that?
Yeah. We won't be retconning anything. I'm going to get that right out of the way. How we're doing what we're doing, we'll be explaining over the course of the first 13 episodes. But by the time we're done in 13, it will all be revealed. We're not rewriting anything. We're not retroactively changing anything. I can't quite get into the details because we want to tell the story in a certain way. But I can promise you and your readers and anybody else here that our intention is not to undo 15 years of Supernatural. And in fact, it was the first thing that was kind of like, what's the expression, physicians do no harm? Like, that's what we wanted to do. You know, someday I'm really hopeful that Jensen and Jared will put the boots back on and get back in the Impala. And so we wanted to be able to create the easiest lane for them to get back in. And we found a creative solution to do that. And to answer your first part of your question, it's been incredible. You know, I had a really great run on Supernatural. I was there for 5 seasons, over 18 episodes. It's one of the best jobs I've ever had. And this was the easiest yes to say to a job opportunity I've ever had. So yeah.
First, I want to say thank you for Charlie.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Felicia Day. She's the real wizard behind that curtain.
I thanked her too.
Okay, good.
Can you tell us a bit about how you went about creating the characters?
Yeah.
The old characters
Sure.
of Mary and John, and the new characters of this kind of Scooby Gang.
The Scooby Gang.
That's Buffy's game.
Yeah. You know, obviously I had a great template in John and Mary. You know, Jeffrey Dean Morgan, Matt Cohen, and then Sam and Amy, who had played, Mary beforehand. And Mary was a character when I was leaving in season 11. I was like, oh, I would love to get a chance to write, her, because I think Sam's a great actor, Amy's a great actor as well. But I was always just interested in that part of their backstory about, like, what was it like to be raised in that world? What was it like to have a knife put in your hand, from Jump, which we get into in this season. With the rest of our cast, I really just was looking for different ways to kind of build out a team and have different team aspects. And one of the things that we got to in Supernatural was this idea of, family don't end in blood and things like that. There's the family you're born into, and then there's the family you find. And we wanted to kind of tell a story about that, kind of from Jump. And, Mary has been born into a family of hunters who she loves and adores and all that other stuff. But, she's been killing monsters out there, slaying dragons since she was 4. And when we meet her in the pilot, she's at a point where she's really questioning if this is what she wants to do with the rest of her life. And I just thought that was a really fun dynamic to play. And then it was about who could we bring into that space, that would be a new characters that could be more inclusive, could give us different points of view, different senses of humor, different senses of trauma, because usually hunters have a traumatic background. And so Carlos and Lata came very, very quickly, Ada as well, and then Millie. She's referenced in the lore, but really there's not much about John's mom, and so in some senses that was a really fun character to really develop because there's history there, but it hadn't really been defined. So yeah, it was a blast diving into all of them.
Was there an episode or scene that was particularly difficult to write?
Yes. There's a scene in the pilot where John and Mary have, spoiler alert, they meet. They're meeting in a dark alley, and it was one of those things where you have to calibrate the story to. I've seen 15 seasons, right? Like, we've all seen Supernatural, but from John's point of view, he hasn't. And so I think I wrote in the description, it was like, now John realizes he's in a horror movie. And then once I had that, I was like, oh, okay, like, I understand how it was. And then fortunately, Drake was so terrific in the scene, and Meg was so terrific. They just bring instant history and instant, chemistry into it. But that was definitely a challenging scene to write.
What are you excited for fans to see?
I'm really excited for fans to meet we call them like the core 4, the kids, the Scooby Gang, I guess. There's just a really fun dynamic that Meg and Drake and JoJo and Nida have they just really bonded really quickly on the pilot. Like, I was joking the other day, it was kind of like being in a college dorm room. I could hear them, like, because they were in a pod because of COVID and everything like that. They've done such a wonderful job of creating these characters, you know, and a lived-in history to them. And we have tons of really great Zooms and conversations about where we can take these characters. I really love the collaborative aspect of TV storytelling, and I'm really just excited for the audience to meet these characters and then eventually this cast. They're really terrific. I'm really lucky.
Last question.
So I had the privilege of watching the pilot. It's stunning. Without spoilers, of course, the ending is a very fun Easter egg for the fans. We expect some more of those as the season progresses. Those things that the fans who watch those 15 seasons are really going to dive
I'm
into.
like the Easter Bunny, and we also have an incredible crew in New Orleans that they have now started either they have watched the show or they're starting to watch the show. They'll pitch me ideas of, hey, can we put this in here? Can we do that? Yes, there will be a ton of not only Easter eggs, but Easter eggs that can talk. People that you'll remember from Supernatural that'll be showing up, I think, in unique and exciting ways. But yes, 100%. We're trying to design it so that if you've never seen it, you can watch it, but if you have seen it, there's a richness there that you can really kind of tap into, both from a character dynamic and then, from an Easter egg standpoint.
Thank you.
Cool. Awesome. One more?